So this is my summer recommendations as well as my summer TBR. I thought it would be fun to start with my recommendations and then we can jump into the books that I would like to try to get to for the remainder of the summer. And let's go ahead and start with this pile off to the side here. First, I would say You Have a Match by Emma Lord. I read this, I think last year, maybe, but it's about a girl who goes to summer camp. She does a DNA test. There's a bunch of drama, but also friendship, and it's really cute. I recommend this for summertime, mostly because of the summer camp vibes. And then Alex Approximately by Jen Bennett. This is such a fun YA book. The other one is YA as well. But this is about a girl who's obsessed with movies, and she moves into her dad's house, and she has this pen pal, and they end up working together without her knowledge. But I think we know, if I remember correctly. But when I read this, I was obsessed with it. I thought the romance was really cute. I thought the motivations and storyline were great. And yeah, I would definitely recommend this. It's set in a beach town. That's why I would kind of recommend it for the summer. Another YA fun time is The Counselors by Jessica Goodman. The thing about this one is I went into it expecting a slasher. I don't know why really, because there's no evidence of a slasher on the front cover. There's no blood splatters or anything like that. It's literally just a swimsuit. But my thought going into it was that it was a slasher, so I was let down by finding out that it is not a slasher actually at all. But it's still a good time, still an intriguing story. So yeah, I would recommend it for summer. It's set at a summer camp. Then this one is Since You've Been Gone by Morgan Matson. I read this earlier this year, and it is about a girl whose best friend just disappears one day after leaving her kind of a bucket list of things that she should do. And her, the main character is very confused why her best friend just kind of dropped off the face of the planet. Meanwhile, she's becoming friends with other people that she's kind of just ignored for years. And she's really ignored her surroundings for years. It's just been her best friend, and that's it. And it's really pushed her to branch out and, become more of herself. And we see that throughout the story, and then it really builds and comes to a breaking point at the very end. And it's really well done. I enjoyed it. The writing is good. I would say it is a little bit long, and maybe 50 to 100 pages could have been cut, but it is a good story. Okay, and then we have Cleat Cute by Meryl Wilsner. I would say this is great for fans of soccer, and if you're not a fan of soccer, you might not enjoy it, but I love soccer. It's my favorite sport, and I really enjoyed this. Soccer season is not necessarily summer, but I think you can definitely enjoy the romance, the setting, all of those things in a summer setting. You could read this at the beach and have the time of your life. Next, I would say I recommend Stone Blind by Natalie Haynes. This is did I say Haynes? Yes, okay. This is a Medusa retelling, and it is heartbreaking but beautiful. I have a Medusa tattoo. I love Medusa, and I love what she represents. I think that her story is very important, very impactful, and the way that Natalie Haynes was able to get it across the page was beautiful. So I highly recommend this. Even if you don't know Greek mythology, I feel like this would be a great place to start. Next, I have In a Jam by Kate Canterbury. I love this cover so much. This is about Shay, who has kind of had a rough time period in her life. Not very long period, but she's had a rough time, and she finds out that her step-grandmother left her the farm, and so she moves back to Rhode Island, and she is reintroduced to a boy who was in love with her when they were in high school, and now they're both older. He's taking care of his niece, and it is just a gorgeous story. And the niece, I can't remember her name off the top of my head, but she was hilarious, and I love this book. I really want to reread it this summer, actually. But yeah, I really enjoyed this when I read it. Okay. And then this stack is kind of like my obvious answer to this question. Like, if you were to ask me for popular books that are also good for summer TBRs, I would say these. So first we have the classic, The Summer I Turned Pretty series. So we have The Summer I Turned Pretty, It's Not Summer Without You, and We'll Always Have Summer by Jenny Han. I read this series and I had a fun time with it. This is about Belly, who has been going to the same like beach house with her family and her best friend's family their entire lives. And this year is a little different, and I'm not going to tell you why, because it's really sad, and it gives you a fun little intrigue if you haven't read this series yet or watched the show, which I would be surprised. But yes, I really enjoyed this series, and I do highly recommend reading it in the summer. Maybe I should reread these. Maybe. Then I have Sadie by Courtney Summers. This is a very interesting book. I haven't read anything like this before, but we are following a podcast that is doing a story about a girl who is missing, and we're kind of following it in real time. So like, he's doing the podcast episodes as he's finding out more information about this girl who is currently missing, and then we'll flip to getting her story, to getting Sadie's story. And it's kind of just mind-bending because you're following the storyline, but it's not linear. It's very convoluted, but it's done so well that it is not hard to follow. It's not hard to understand. And I will say, maybe look up trigger warnings. I didn't, and it did kind of hit me a little bit, but very good story. And then Flock by Kate Stewart. I would say this series, I still need to read the third, but I would say the series is good for the summer. This one in particular, because of one particular scene, the float scene. If you know, you know. But this is a fun series. It's kind of like a romantic suspense. Very outlandish, very much suspend disbelief and all of that jazz, but it is very fun. Then Happy Place by Emily Henry. Honestly, you could read any Emily Henry book in the summer and be perfectly happy. However, this is my favorite book, so I had to say this one. Happy Place follows Harriet and Wynne. And I see myself so much in Harriet, and so I absolutely adore this book and highly, highly recommend it. Harriet and Wynne were together for a really long time, and they recently broke up, but they go on this trip with their friend group for the last time because the house that they always go to is being sold, so they're not going to go there anymore. And they decide, instead of telling their friends, hey, we broke up a little bit ago, they are just going to pretend like they're still together. And it's just their beautiful, hard, like difficult story. And it's so good. And I really want to read this one again. Like, I really want to reread this one this year. Hopefully I can. I love it. So good. And then last but not least at all, I would say the Windy City series. I really enjoyed my time with all 4 of these books. The 5th one is on my monthly TBR for July, and I liked Mile High. I really enjoyed The Right Move, loved Caught Up, and actually adored Play Along. This is my favorite sports romance ever. But yeah, I love this series so much, and I think they're perfect for the summertime. It is set in Chicago, and you know, Mile High is a hockey romance, so maybe not that one for summer, but all the other ones, it's basketball and baseball, and I feel like those are great for the summer. And we're following basically a friend group and their journey finding love. So it's a lot of found family, beautiful writing, and just like such good character development, character depth, and I see myself a lot in the characters and Play Along. I love them. So those are my recommendations for summer books if you want to add them to your summer TBR this year. I really liked and enjoyed most of the books that I read last summer, but I don't think I fully prioritize like seasonal TBRs, but I'm trying to more often now. But just a few that I don't own that I do want to also put out there is really having enjoyed is the Good Game series. So this is a series by Madison Fox, who is a YouTuber here, and she actually just came out with a new book. I should look into getting that as well. But the Good Game series are, well, is it called Good Game, or is it just the first one called Good Game? I need to look into that. But that series is so fun. It's all about masked video gamers, and they're spicy, they're fun, they're cute, they're deep, like just all around good time. And yes, I really enjoyed all 3 of them. I think if I had to like rank them, I think it would be 3, 2, 1, or maybe 2, 3, 1, but they're all good. They're all a good time. And then last but not least, Birthday Girl by Penelope Douglas. This is an age gap ex-boyfriend's dad romance, but it's very summery and very cute. I enjoyed it when I read it. It's been a really long time since I've read it though, so I don't know if me now would be comfortable with that and really like it. I mean, she's 19, he's 38, so like it is weird, but it's not. No, it's still weird, but you kind of just forget about it while you're reading it. Okay, and now to move on to the books that are on my summer TBR this year and probably years coming in the future, because there's no way I'm going to get through all of these this summer, because in my mind, summer is till the end of August. But I do live in Texas, and it is hot here well into October, if not November. I mean, it's not like in the hundreds anymore, but it's still fairly warm. We don't really have much of a fall where I live. It's hot, and then it's 2 weeks of fall, and then it's hot again, and then it's winter. So yeah, I'll probably be reading these into September at least. So maybe I'll get through a good chunk of these. I'll start with the ones that I don't physically own. So I have Shark Heart, a love story. I cannot remember the author's name right now. Actually, I have my phone. I don't know why I'm pretending like I can't look things up when I'm talking to you. Oh, because it's new, because this is a new camera. What did I say? Shark Heart. Emily Haybeck. Okay. So this is about the story. It's kind of like a literary fiction, I would say. Literary fiction, but it's a love story. And it's about a guy who turns into a great white shark. I don't know, but it could be fun. I think Jamie really liked it, and a few other people have really liked it, but I can't remember them off the top of my head because Jamie was the one that I was like, okay, if she likes it, I'm gonna like it. I miss her so much. Okay, and then I have A Good Girl's Guide to Murder. Again, can't remember who wrote that. What's it? Holly Jackson? Is that right? Again, literally, it's right here. Girl, come on. A Good Girls. Holly Jackson. Look at me, I should just go with my instincts. That is, I believe it's a trilogy about a girl who I think she has to do a project for school about something that's happening like current events wise, and she chooses a murder case, I think, and she like tries to solve it. I really don't know very much about the series, but I know that everyone loves it, and I think it would be something that I could be interested in. And then The Cinnamon Bun Bookstore by Lori Gilmore. I mean, look at the cover. That screams fall, not summer. But Destiny read this and she said that it is not fall, it is summer, and so I trust her. I'm gonna read it in the summer. And then that's the second in the like pumpkin spice series. I don't know what that's actually called. Dreamland, Dream Harbor, something. I don't know, but it's very Gilmore Girls coded and it's fun. And then I would like for this year to be the year that I dip my toe into Ellen Hildebrand. And I don't think this is going to be the right one to get started with, but I kind of want to start from her first book and like work towards her current books. Again, I don't know if that's right, the right way to do that. If you've read The Beach Club, which is her first book, and you hated it, tell me a good place to start with her books, because I'm curious. I don't know where else to start. And then Jackpot Summer by, see, I remembered this time. Jackpot Summer. Alyssa Friedland. So this is about, I believe it's 4 siblings who win the lottery, and all of their lives have kind of been complicated and not really great until this happens, but it's also not better once it happens, I think is the premise. I don't actually know. And then one last one, Shipped by Angie Hockman. This one I don't know very much about, but the cover looks very summery. Ooh, okay, so Goodreads says The Unhoneymooners meets The Hating Game in this witty, clever, and swoon-worthy novel following a workaholic marketing manager who is forced to go on a cruise with her arch nemesis when they're up for the same promotion. Okay, yeah, that reignited my intrigue. Okay, so here are the books that are actually, I mean, like, they're on my physical TBR, so I would say these are higher priority than the ones that I don't own physically, but that's neither here nor there because I like to read things that I don't own all the time. All the time, it's a problem. So first up, I have Firefly Lane by Kristen Hanna. No idea if this is set during summer. Yep, it says Turbulent Summer 1974 on the back cover. So I'm excited to get to this, and then once I've read it, I can watch the Netflix series, which is very exciting actually. And then Tweet Cute by, Firefly Lane is about 2 friends. It's a book about female friendship. I love books about female friendship. I think that it is absolutely beautiful when you find your people and when you can encapsulate, can I just choose a different word? I think when you can write that well, it is one of like some of the best stories that I've ever read. And then I have Tweet Cute by Emma Lord. This is about rival sandwich shops, I think. Pretty sure. Yeah, rival sandwich shops. And they both run the social media for the rival sandwich shops, but they fall in love, I think. And I want to say there's some kind of, it's based off of some beloved rom-com, but I don't know. I don't know if I'm making that up. And then Sweet Bitter by Stephanie Dandler. This is about a messy 20-something who works in the service industry. I love it. I once was a messy 20-something working in the service industry, so I think this will be a fun time. And I saw Jamie, Flo, and Emma talk about this book a long time ago. I will link all of their channels below. All of them are great. And yeah, I think I'm gonna really enjoy this. It does have deckled edges, which I don't love, but that's okay. It'll be good. I'm hopeful for this one. It does have terrible reviews on Goodreads, but I feel like that's just a common thing with literary fiction, so I'm not too worried about that. I think this is my only nonfiction in this list, but this is Dead Wake by Eric Larson. This is about the sinking of the Lusitania, which it does say it starts in May of 1915, so obviously World War One. But I think, you know, water, sinking of a ship, screams summer to me. And I haven't ever read anything by Eric Larson, but I feel like this or The Devil in the White City would be a good place to start with him. So I'm very intrigued. Very intrigued. I've heard that he has kind of like a fictionalized style of writing nonfiction. I don't know how that works, but we'll see. And then The Bromance Book Club by, is it Lisa or Lissa? I don't know, but Lissa K. Adams, maybe? I don't know. So basically we have, ooh, okay, he's a sports guy. He's a baseballer. So he is having marital issues. And instead of, you know, calling it quits, he's like, okay, let me put in the work. Let me join a book club and read romance with a bunch of other guys, and we can figure out how to please our women. And I love that. So I'm gonna put that on the TBR. No idea when it's set though, but I want to get to that this summer. And then The Song of Achilles by Madeline Miller. This is on my July TBR, so I think I will be getting to it quite soon. And this is about Achilles and Patroclus. It's their tragic love story, Greek mythology, all of the things. I've heard this is also a good place to start. If you aren't very familiar with Greek mythology, I've heard that that's not really like an issue. I do know some Greek mythology, so I wasn't too worried about that, but it is good to know, and maybe if it is, I can let you guys know. I'm gonna put that back up here so that I can remember it goes there. And then The Queen's Gambit by Walter Tevis. I kind of go back and forth on whether or not I want to read this in the summer or the fall. I kind of am leaning towards fall, but it was on my list and I do want to get to it. So yeah, I don't know. But it is about a chess prodigy, and my partner loves chess, and so I would really like to read this so that we can watch the movie together, because he's been wanting to read it for a while. And yeah, I think it'll be interesting, at least, and maybe I'll learn something about chess. And then Malibu Rising by Taylor Jenkins Reid. This is about a house party that turns into a house fire. I actually don't know what it's about, but I did get from the blurb that there is a house party and there is a house fire, and it is set in 1983. So That'll be fun. Then we have Dumplin' by Julie Murphy. I watched the movie for this a while ago, and I think it could be cute. So it's about Dumplin', who is having a hard time. She's plus size. Her mom is really into beauty pageants and was a pageant queen and wants her daughter to follow in her footsteps. But Dumplin' doesn't really feel like she belongs to that crowd because of her weight, her image, her own insecurities, other people's projections, all of the things. And it's really about her breaking down those barriers and finding her own. And it was a beautiful movie, and I can't wait to read the book version of it. And it is set in Texas. I like reading things set in Texas, but I also don't like reading things set in Texas, because when I read, sorry, this is totally a tangent, but when I read The Bodyguard by Catherine Center, and it was set in Houston, which I'm from Houston, so I'm very aware of Houston. It was just very interesting, like just kind of difficult to get through. A lot of it was very accurate, but also some of it was not. So yeah. Anyway, that doesn't happen every time. But another book that's on my July TBR is Dear Haiti, Love Elaine by Mega and Maritza Moulit. This is about a girl who gets in trouble with her family and goes to live with other family members in Haiti. And this cover, oh, hello, screams summer to me. And I cannot imagine hating this. Like, I think it's going to be absolutely beautiful. And I feel like it's going to be a little bit more like gripping than just your average YA. Actually, I don't know if this is YA. It might be YA, but it also might be, I think it is YA. I think it is YA, but I think it's going to be a little bit more like heart-wrenching than just your average YA book. So go there. Perfect. Oh gosh, I still have 2 stacks of books, but we're gonna rapid fire some of these because I don't really have much to say. For this one, The Last Mrs. Parrish by Liv Constantine. I think this is a thriller or a mystery. I'm not 100% sure, but this cover also screams summer. Like, she's wearing a big floppy hat and it looks like she's wearing a swimsuit. But I believe it's a woman obsessed story. So I feel like that could be really fun. And then we have Cross the Line by Simone Soltani. Soltani. This is a F1 romance and brother's best friend, which I think is going to be so good, so fun. I like F1. My partner loves F1. So yeah, I'm excited to give this one a try. I've never read anything by this author. I think this might be her debut. I don't know, but I'm very excited actually to get to this. Hopefully I can read it in August. Then we have My Best Friend's Exorcism by Grady Hendrix. I still have not read this. I still would like to, but horror is one genre that I just haven't fully broken into yet, and I'm still working on trying to get into thrillers, so we'll see how it goes. But I do think this would be a great place to start. But this is about 2 friends who go into a lake after, I think they have like a difficult night, and then they get into the lake and one of them comes out possessed. I think that would make sense for the title, but I don't know. And then The Bridge Kingdom by Danielle L. Jensen. I've only ever read one other book by Danielle L. Jensen, and I really enjoyed it, and that's A Fate Inked in Blood. I am hoping I enjoy this series. I feel like I will, and I loved the like cover that they came up with for the reprint of this series. And yes, I don't know why, but specifically this fantasy gives me summer vibes. Literally no clue why, because I don't even know what that book is about, but it just screams summer to me. Also, I never have my hair down. My coworkers today were like, I'm so proud of you. It's the evening and your hair is still down. It's always up in a clip or a ponytail. Then we have Great Big Beautiful Life by Emily Henry. I am so excited for this as well. It is about two people who are trying to write the same, or they're trying to write a memoir for the same person. And so it's about that person's story, but also their reluctant relationship, I think. And I've heard that it's more literary than it is romance, and I'm happy with that. And then I kind of mentioned this one earlier, but it's The Finish Line by Kate Stewart, which is the third in the Raven Hood trilogy. I'm getting resituated. The second book in this series was absolutely a fever dream, and I don't know where we go from there. I'm gonna be sad. Yep, and then we have Problematic Summer Romance by Ali Hazelwood, the book that none of us, I think, knew was coming, but I am so happy to have in my hands. This woman, I love her. She can do no wrong. I read everything this woman has put out. I have loved everything she's put out. Honestly, even the novellas, they're right there. I love them. Hey, girl. Can't wait to add this one to that little stack. So excited. But that follows the sister. Okay, let me just pull it back out. So we have Maya Kilgore, who is the sister of the main character in Not in Love, and then his business partner and like really good friend Connor Harkness, who is 38 and she's 23. I love an age gap. And it's kind of like they've never, I mean, she's always been like very obvious that she's into him, and he's always been like, no. What? No, I'm okay. I don't want to go there because that's weird. You're my best friend's little sister. It's weird. I don't want to do that. But then they go to the best friend's wedding and spend time together and kind of realize, oh yeah, this makes a lot of sense actually for us to be together. So can't wait. And then this one's kind of wild card, but I'm here for it. It's If We Ever Meet Again by Anna Huang. My partner got this for me not that long ago, either for I think it was for Christmas. And it is a beautiful edition. I do think this one is a love triangle though. I'm a little, but maybe not. Is it fake dating? I don't really want to read the back. I kind of want to be surprised, but I also want to know what's going on. Okay. This is going to be messy, and I'm here for it. I love messy books. Okay, last stack. This is not bad. We have Riders and Lovers by Lily King. I've had this book for years. Don't ask me what it's about because I don't really know. I think it is how do I explain it? It's kind of like what I was saying about the Great Big Beautiful Life Emily Henry book, where it's literary first and then also a romance. So I think we're following a girl who is dealing with a bunch of grief, and I think that's why I've been putting it off. It's just grief is a little bit too much right now. So, but I am still very interested in reading it, and I would like to get to it this year. It's on my 25 and 2025. So I feel like I need to, but it's following a girl. I think it's set in 1997, the summer of 1997. It might be a love triangle, maybe. I don't know for sure, but I think it could be good. I've heard good things. I'm pretty sure Flo loved it. Pretty sure. I could be wrong. And then Bunny by Mona Awad. I've still never read this. Why? Because it's a horror and I'm scared of horror. But also because I feel like a society, like a secret society type situation where they all tell each other Bunny is a little weird. But that's the point. So why shouldn't I read it for that? I don't know. But also I love that on the back it literally says Smut Salon. I don't know. It is set during the school year, so it's not summer, but I feel like it's perfect. Like a pink cover for a horror. Of course I'm gonna read it during the summer. Are you kidding? I don't. What are you saying? And then we have Funny You Should Ask by Alyssa Sussman. This is, I think, a book about a journalist who has the opportunity to interview a actor, and they have like such good chemistry, and everyone kind of like wants them to date but is also kind of jealous. And 10 years go by, her life is falling apart, I think his life is falling apart, and they are brought together to kind of revamp his image, but it works really well for her. I think, I could be so wrong, but I think that's the story, and if it is, so good. And then Done and Dusted by Lila Sage. This is a fun cowboy romance. It is also Brother's best friend. And she does have like a very interesting, unique name. Her name is Clementine. She goes by Emmy. That's cute. And I've heard that the series just gets better. Like the more books into it you read, the better it is. So I'm very intrigued, very excited to start another cowboy romance series. I think that's going to be so fun. One book I definitely need to read in the summer is The Summer of Broken Rules by K.L. Walther. This, I believe we play assassin on Martha's Vineyard, I think. And this one also deals heavily with grief. So we'll see. I think there's like a wedding as well, but could be fun. I've heard it's very Taylor Swift coded, and while I like Taylor Swift, like I really do love her, I've realized recently that when books are too Taylor Swift coded, it does bother me. So yeah, that was such a fun realization for me. And then I have A Hawthorne Legacy by Jennifer Lynn Barnes. This is the second in the, what is this series called? Just as an Inheritance Games novel. Okay, so this is the second in the Inheritance Games series, and we follow Avery in the first one when she receives this huge inheritance, and there are a few stipulations for her to actually fully receive the inheritance, and if she completes those, she gets to keep everything. Along the way, she does have to interact with the man's 4 grandsons, and it's all about how they kind of bond and form friendships, relationships, all of those things, how interesting different games can be, and there's like different puzzles. It's a very crazy fun ride, and I picked up the second one. I couldn't tell you what I read, and honestly I might want to just reread the first one because I really did enjoy it. I think I gave it 5 stars. I just forgot to continue. I might just push through. It was a good book, and I feel like I remember it enough to just continue on. So yeah, I can't wait. And then lastly, I'm Picking Daisies on Sundays by Liana Cincotti. Yeah, I think it's Cincotti. And this is, I believe, fake dating. And I love fake dating. I don't know if you know that about me, but I love fake dating. I also love pink. And this is a fully pink cover. So I'm excited. Ooh, is it also Second Chance? Ooh, okay, yeah, it does say that there's, I think it was like childhood best friends. They haven't seen each other in a really long time, and then he needs a fake date to his sister's wedding. I think that's right. But I'm gonna eat that up. I wish I could have read it in the springtime, but I think it could also be really good for the summer. If not, that's okay. I still want to read it because it's pink. And that is all. I say that like that wasn't a bunch of books, and we're not 40 something minutes into filming. Yeah. I don't know. I had a really fun time going over all of these books with you today, and if I added a book to your personal summer TBR, please let me know which one it was down in the comments. And if you really enjoyed any of the books that I've added to my personal summer TBR, also let me know down in the comments below so that we can chat. And if I read it, I can tell you that I read it.